Body Nation, welcome back to my channel. I'm glad to have you. I hope you've missed me again. I have been so busy with just everything, man. Life, T-ball. Found out that takes quite a bit of my time, a lot more than I expected. So I've been spending a lot of time doing T-ball on the weekends and really not finding a lot of time in the car. However, as you can see behind me, I've got two transmissions. So I'm kind of giving you guys just a quick update on what I've been doing and what I've been working on. In case you haven't known, the transmission was making quite a bit of noise last time we drove it. It was getting progressively worse to the point where I knew that I needed to stop driving it. Okay, so I'll probably be driving the car a little bit too hard on this old stock T5. So I stopped driving, and this is the sound it was making. Check it out. Okay, in the last video I posted, I know you can kind of hear the sound I was hearing, and it's gotten really bad. It's gotten worse to the point now I knew I should stop driving the car. Up on jack stands with the axle up, I can run the car through the gears. You don't really hear it, mainly because the car is not in load. You have to hear it really with load on the tires. If I put the emergency brake on, you can hear it, and especially if it's in reverse, you can really hear it. So I'm going to start up for you guys, let you hear this thing. On my bench, I've got the new one, the new/used one that I purchased from a member on the Fox Body, North Texas Fox Body Mustang Club, and I got this for $400 bucks. It's got 73,000 original miles on it. Has very little to any in play on it at all, and you can see it really barely moves, and it has no backwards and forwards play. But this feels good. Everything spins fine, and this should be good for now. This is going to at least buy us some time before I have to replace the transmission with a TKO. Really just want to get the car back on the road. Over here I went ahead and pulled the transmission out of my 86. So this is the original 86 transmission that I stuck behind the trick flow motor. So this transmission, as far as I know, has been with the car for a long time. It does look like maybe it had painted, so it may have gone through a rebuild at one point, versus this guy's got the natural cast on it. I did clean it up though, but anyways, it has a more natural looking cast on it. This has kind of a silver paint look to it, so I don't know if this has been gone through once before or not, but it's got quite a bit of in-play on it. And most noticeably, it's got a click sound to it. Let me show you guys the sound you heard when the car was in reverse on jack stands, what the transmission sounds like with it on the bench here. So noticeably, if you put this transmission in first, there's a click that you can hear. Now hear that small click, you hear that. There's a certain point turning the transmission backwards and forwards right on the gear spot. So I'm guessing that sound right there is probably a chip tooth in one of the gears, and that's the sound we've been hearing. Move over here to the transmission I picked up. You can tell it does not have that sound. So it has the standards, the backwards and forwards sound it would make, but not that click. So anyways, this is the one we're going to go with for now. Okay, so I know what you're thinking. You're probably asking yourself, why on earth would anybody go and put an original T5 back into the car with the engine that just tore up, basically the exact same transmission? The answer is simple. It's I don't have enough money right now to just go out and purchase a TKO, because they new can run you $2,400. That's just the transmission alone. You still need a bell house, which is I think about $300, and you'll need another clutch setup, which is going to be about $300-400. When you're all said and done, you're going to be close to $3 grand, if not more, depending on what other modifications or anything you might need to swap it out. So that's really the reason. I just wanted to get the car back on the road and enjoy it summertime and enjoy it with the motor that's in it now. Once I go turbo, there's no way this thing is going to handle it, especially if I really start driving it the way I have been and start pushing it. So when you're hard on your transmission, you abuse them, things going to break. However, I think I've been really kind of easy on the transmission. So looking at these guys, if you look at the top right here, there's a flower looking emblem, and this has the build date on it. So the gentleman I purchased this new used one from still has a tag on it. He said that car he's bought since it was new, and it had 73,000 original miles on it. So this does say 87 on it. His car was an 88, so that makes sense. This is an 87 built case. At least that's the stamp on the casing. And this one, interesting enough, that came out of my 86, has an 89 date on it, which means someone at one point replaced the transmission in the 86. I would like to take a minute and kind of go through this thing and really get to see what the differences are. They are both world-class T5s. I know that because the Timken bearing on the main gear set here on the bottom or on the front of the transmission, you can see it here and here on this transmission here, versus having a stamped steel plug. So I know that these are world-class transmissions, both of them are. So yeah, maybe while I get this one put in the car, we can start running it. Maybe I can get this one rebuilt for heavier duty and for more slamming. Okay, remember this guy? This is the shifter that we installed in one of my earlier videos a year ago or so. And this shifter was purchased off Amazon. It's basically a Chinese cheapo stamped steel shifter that I got for, gosh, I don't know, $40-50, something like that. It's basically the same shifter they sell on LMR. I did want to show you guys, or at least let you know that I am not going to run this. In fact, I'm going to run the stock one for now until I get a better shifter. I'm not going to go back to this. This transmission, or this shifter, guys, it's crap, and I'll tell you why. The spring returns on this binds up. You can see them inside of here. It's basically just a rod, a steel rod, and that pivots on this shaft and then pushes up against springs that you can replace and pull from these two plugs. So these springs hold tension on the pivot point, and that's what creates your return back. However, I've had the problem with the pin sliding so that it binds the gear up and it won't actually return back. So I actually drilled and put my own pin in it to keep that from sliding this way. Even so, it has almost zero. In fact, it doesn't. It has no bounce back. So this way it feels normal. That way it just goes over and stays. So the shifting has been absolutely terrible feeling on this shifter. Okay, kind of talking about what I've done. Obviously, get the transmission off. Obviously, get the car up as high as you can on all four jack stands. I've got two underneath the rear axle, and I've got two underneath the front K-member. And underneath, the first thing I did was just remove the drive shaft, pull it out of the way, and then remove some of the exhaust bolts. And I actually dropped it. I didn't remove it all the way. I got the rear section disconnected, and I got it disconnected from the header so that it drops down low enough. And then I can get the 4 tranny bolts off where it connects to your bell. So you can just remove the bolts there, and then right there, and on the other side here. Or sorry, right there. Right there. So those 4 are just removed, and then the transmission just simply pulls out and drops down. One thing I had to do is, I had to lift the transmission up and slide this off of the exhaust. Well, this is your exhaust hanger bracket that goes onto the transmission. Once it's down low enough, you remove the cross member, remove the mount, and then take this and slide it off. Obviously have a jack underneath your transmission. At that point there'll be nothing in the way of dropping your transmission down between your exhaust. So I just went ahead and dropped it down, slid it back, pulled it out. So nothing to it. Okay guys, just from what I've learned, when putting transmissions in by yourself, underneath the car, without a lift, and without the proper tools, I'm just going to go ahead and say this is a disclaimer. This is not the right way to do it. This is a way to hurt yourself. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do with with the tools you have to work with, but ideally you want to use a transmission jack that straddles your transmission. So if you do it this way, in order to stabilize the transmission this way, otherwise there's no way you're going to get this thing lifted up by yourself without it rocking, falling and stuff. Go ahead and make sure you put your exhaust hanger on first, and then your cross member mount and the cross member on. That'll give it at least stability to keep it from falling, this way and that way. So this helps make it a platform. Once this is on, now you've got the levers to push back on the tail, like that. And then once it's back, you can position your jack underneath it, place it on the jack, and then lift it forward. So now I have the ability to, to wrangle this thing in and lift it up and try to put it in. But again, disclaimer, the proper way to do this is with a transmission jack. Crap, just went right in. Get a couple of these in tight, I know it won't move. Okay, get the other side, cross member bolt in. Alright, now we know the transmission should be able to rest on the car without it falling on me. That's good. Okay, it's into the night and the transmission's in. The cross members have been bolted and tightened down. I made sure that all the bolts were tighter on the bell house. Got some of the electrical connections to plug in, and I've noticed that this plug is different than what is actually on the receiving end. So this is coming from the 86 harness. However, the plug that needs to plug into from the transmission itself, if I can get to it, is this one right here. So this guy off the 88. Alright, this plug just simply pulls off. This is the one off the transmission in there. Simply use a screwdriver and just pry it on it, and sure enough it comes off like so. So we'll place this over here, just keep this in good keepsafings. Put that on like that. This one we're going to look at and inspect. It looks okay. I'm going to put a little bit of dielectric grease in there. Just keep the water out, and we'll plug it back in. Well, it looks like I will be ordering myself a new vehicle speed sensor because mine has been bent somewhere along the removal. So if you can see, if I spin this part right here just kind of twist on me. See how it's twisting? Yeah, so it is bent, and this was leaking anyways. So even though you could just replace the O-rings, this one's definitely seen better days. So see if I can find one of these guys laying around somewhere. Okay, so remember how I said I bent this guy? I went ahead and bought myself a new one. $12 on Amazon. Can't go wrong with that. This one looks much better. Actually, looks a lot better. Look at that. Pretty nice. So I just need to move the speedometer gear over I've got a red gear for my 373 gears. That mates up to the yellow gear inside the transmission. So last night I spent some more time on the car, and really what's taking most time is putting this exhaust on. It's really a pain in the butt when you don't have a lift, but it's just slowly. It's a lot easier taking it off, it seems like, than it's getting it back on. Okay, shifter is in. And we got the big, nice, fat, tall shifter in it, but I tell you what, even it feels better than the crappy Chinese one that was in it before. So this is in. It'll have to work. It'll have to work for now. I've been looking at the Mgw Shifter. It looks really nice. Heard a lot of really good things about it, so I'm probably gonna go that route. It's a decent price for what you get. It seems like a really nice made shifter, and I just didn't want to put that old one back on this transmission. So this one will work. Make sure everything works okay in the transmission before we go crazy on the shifting anyways. So yeah, if you haven't heard of Mgw, check them out. Just Google Mgw shifters. They make a bunch of them for Fords, and the top loader T5, T45 one I believe is 189 if I'm not mistaken, but looks like a pretty nice piece. Check it out. Okay, it's late and I'm exhausted. No pun. That was so lame. It's the next day and it is, gosh, what is it, Wednesday. I think it's almost been a week since I've been working on this thing. Still working on the exhaust. I got it all finally in, tightened up. I didn't really like the way this driver's side piece was fitting because somebody welded it up right here. And, you know, I was not a fan of the welds. I'm going to actually cut the welds off because this lack of adjustment right here caused this bushing, which is supposed to be, this is up against the trunk floor, and it's supposed to hang down with the weight on it like this. My car had it up, I'm sorry, it's supposed to be like this. My car actually had it reversed like this, so the exhaust was pushed up higher, up against the floor right here. Caused the tailpipes to look funny, and it basically was causing the pipe to be too close to the axle and hit, and I heard it when I was driving, so I'm just going to try to resolve that. Alright, man, it's a lot of work just to fix the exhaust, so another night done. It's the next night, time to put the drive shaft in. And I think I said, oh no, I gotta put this guy in. And that's it. And we fill it with fluid and drive it. Okay, got the new speedometer VSS sensor in. Speedometer's clicked in, we got all the cables tied back and clipped up. We've got the O2 sensors plugged in. And yeah, got the exhaust on and even and looking much better after cutting that section right there. I was able to slide it back and move the brackets to where I wanted. Everything is, you know, super nice and tight. We're not rubbing anymore. So the exhaust looks pretty good. I need to clean up that. I try to clean up at least the stain on it. Oh, cool. Spider kill, spider kill. Alright. That's a wrap. She's done. Wipe the nails, fill up tranny up with fluid. That's it. Other than the transmission fluid, which I will do tomorrow because I don't have any. Pump some new training fluid in, we'll get all the old stuff out. I won't even show that on video because it's just training fluid. Who cares? Then I'll be able to drive it. However, we're not clear in the woods yet. Let me show you why, guys. So the car is done. The transmission has been replaced. Got the old school, super long, you know, shifter in here. Feels good, I guess. Another reason why I parked it, guys, is I got a major brake problem. We've got some training fluid leaking out of here. If you guys remember my previous videos, we did replace the front brakes, all new equipment. The rear brakes I got from a older setup or a used setup online, and it's a geometric caliper that's leaking like crazy. In fact, I don't know if you can see it, you probably can't, but trust me, when I had this car up, and yeah, you can see training fluid on the wheel. Oh, I'm sorry, brake fluid up on the wheel. So trust me, that caliper over there is leaking. This one's not engaging. You can see where the brake has been just touching a section of the front of the disc and not the back of the disc. So it really is a problem. The rear brakes aren't working, and I've known that pretty much since I did the conversion. The rear brakes have been terrible. The car doesn't stop like it should. So for the back on the road, I'm gonna get those calipers off probably, and that'll be the next video. So I'm sorry guys, you got to wait. Next video we'll be doing the rear brakes again on the car. We'll be replacing that, getting new calipers in, filling the tranny fluid, and taking this thing for a drive. That is likely tomorrow, but for you, with my editing and how slow life is, it may be a few days. But guys, I'm ending the video here. That is a tranny swap in my 86. We swapped the T5 with a used T5 just to get the car back on the road, to get back in the good times. And thank you so much for watching, guys. Listen, I made 3,500 subscribers. That is super rad. I cannot believe that many people in this world want to watch this crap. That's awesome, and I thank you so much. So guys, take care. We will see you next time. Please subscribe and follow me on Instagram for any kind of updates, and we'll see you guys next time. Take care. Bye.